Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a database diagram in Microsoft SQL Server using Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is the initial screen when you run the Management Studio. You can see that I'm using Windows Authentication to connect to the server. This is the Object Explorer. Here, you can see the SQL Server objects such as databases, tables, stored procedures, and others. In this tutorial, we will use Contoso Pizza to demo the creation of database diagram. So we've expanded Contoso Pizza. We'll right-click on the database diagram to see the context menu. The context menu shows you all the actions that you can perform in an object. This is a standard feature in Management Studio. So if you want to know all the actions you can do to an object, just right-click on it to see them. Okay, let's continue. Let's click New Database Diagram. Now you're seeing the Add Table dialog box. When you create a database diagram, you do not need to include all the tables. Just include the tables that are relevant to the functionality that you are working on. You can add one table. Let's select Customers table and click Add. You can see that the Customers table is now added in the database diagram pane. Now let's add multiple tables. Let's use Control plus mouse click to select multiple tables. Then click Add. Let's add Products table as well. Click Add. And then let's close the dialog box. Now we are in the diagram pane. Let's right click on it to view the context menu or the actions that we can do to this diagram. We can see that we can create new table, add table, create new text annotation, and show relationship labels. Show relationship labels is interesting, so let's try it. The relationship labels are prefixed with FK, which stands for foreign key, that relates to our primary tables. Let's arrange the relationship labels so we can understand their correspondence. So now let's look at the relationship between the orders and the customers table. The common field here is customer ID. Here, the key tip means that the table is the parent table containing the primary key. In this case, it is the customers table. The infinity tip on the other end is the child table, which contains the foreign key. So if we look at the Object Explorer under Customers, Keys, we can see the PK Customers, and that is the primary key. For orders, we can see the FK Orders Customers. That is the foreign key customer ID column. At this point, let's save our database diagram by clicking on Save icon. Okay, so let's give it a name. Let's make it simple. My first diagram. There. You can see our name beside the tab name. Okay, so let's continue. Now, let's create a new table. Right-click anywhere in the database diagram. Let's give a name to our new table. I recommend to use a noun in its plural form as a convention. Here we'll name our table Suppliers. Click OK. So we can see our table designer. Let's start adding columns, and the first column that we will add is a primary key. We'll name it Supplier ID. Make it an integer type. Let's right click on its node and set it as the primary key. There you go. Now you can see the key icon. When creating a primary key, I highly recommend to use an auto-generated number. In SQL Server, we set it by setting the identity specification of the field to yes. Let's right click on the supplier ID and then click Properties. So let's set this is identity to yes. We can double click it or expand this drop down and then click yes. So you'll notice here the identity increment and identity seed properties. The identity increment is set to 1 and the identity seed is also set to 1. The identity increment tells us the interval of our primary key. The identity seed tells us its starting number. So setting these both to 1 will give us a sequential primary key of 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now let's add another column and we'll call it name. Let's set it to varchar. And then let's save it. So as you can see, there's an asterisk beside the supplier's table name, so that means that we made a modification and we need to save it. So let's just click yes. Let's add another table, but before that, let's change the suppliers table view. So we'll see only the column names similar to the other tables. To do that, right click on the suppliers table and click table view. Then let's select column names. Alright. So let's put it beside the products table. Okay. Suppose we need a report that requires a list of suppliers for each of our product, and the requirement needs us to ensure that the product has many suppliers and a supplier can supply many products. We cannot put the supplier ID in our product table because that would limit our report to only one supplier per product. Similarly, if we put the product ID in suppliers table, we will limit our report to only one product per supplier. So to fulfill our requirement, we need to add a junction table linking products and suppliers. The junction table implements the many-to-many relationship in entity relationship diagram. Our junction table contains the suppliers for each product and vice versa. Let's go ahead and create the junction table. We will name it product suppliers. New table. Okay. So let's give it a name. Product suppliers. So again, we create the primary key. And then we'll add the product ID to relate it to products table using the name data type that's used in the parent table, products. And then we'll also add supplier ID. And let's use int. Okay, then save it. Okay, so let's change the view to column names only. And let's put it between the products and the suppliers table. Okay. Now we need to add the relationship. To do that, we'll drag product ID column from product suppliers to the product table. Okay, so we have here the automatically created foreign key name, then that's FK product suppliers underscore products, and we can see here the primary key table is the products table and the foreign key table is the product suppliers. And we can see that SQL Server automatically used the same field name to define the relationship. Click OK. Let's leave this as is. Click OK again. And now we'll drive the supplier ID column to suppliers to define the relationship between them. Alright, so same primary key table is suppliers, foreign key table is product suppliers, and supplier ID as the foreign key. Okay, so click OK. Okay, so now you'll see that they have their own labels. Okay. So by doing this, by placing a junction table, we can be assured that we can generate the list of suppliers for each product, and they can both have many products per supplier and many suppliers per product. Okay, so our diagram became cluttered because of the newly added tables. Let's arrange them by right-clicking on the diagram pane and selecting Arrange Tables. Okay, and Arrange Tables. Okay, so now we can see all the tables at once, and if we want to have the view of the entire diagram, we can just right-click again, click Zoom, and select to fit. Cool, isn't it? Okay. So, by the way, we can expand this database diagrams here, and we can see that our diagram already appears under the database diagrams. So we can create more than one diagram per database to represent a specific functionality in our system. So, you can do a lot more to the database diagram. Just right-click anywhere on it and explore the actions listed in the context menu. Okay. Oh, we can see names here with asterisks. So that means we need to save our database diagram again. So let's click Save. Okay. And now we can see that we've modified 3 tables. So let's just click Save. There you go. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe.